I ain't even mad at that here, because that's how I got us better, for real. But who's going to stop us? Jackie.
Right.
Who's going to stop us?
Thanks. Let me get me some juice, though, man.
I'm going to either get the rebound or I will go shoot the three.
Oh, that thing. Yeah. Oh, this show because the top ain't even on it. Shit. I already know yours. It's right here, too. Two footers? Oh, shit. They playing money in the bank for real. I'm going under. He missed. Good. We're gonna let him shoot that. Oh. He still shot it too. Oh yeah, everything is tools unless I forgot. So unless you get the money in the bank, everything is tools. What? Open? Good day. MV. Let's go. Wow. Pat. Oh. Yeah, we're gonna get out of here because everything is tools. This is gonna be all day. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're going to be all day.
Yeah. Good day. Oh my. Ah. Good day. Man, I'm missing.
I missed. That was early. Oh.
Yeah,
right.
right.
That jump for early. Gotta make that. Right.
I really don't like this long game.
Yeah, all we doing is just yeah. All we doing is dunking. Big game should have been over.
Yeah, somebody gotta put some money in the bank, man. MV. All right, there you go. Money in the bank. Pay attention.
They got the money. They got the money.
Money out the bank.
Right.
The money has left the bank.
And I will ask you.
Money in the bank.
Money in the bank.
All right. Money in the bank. Money in the bank. Money in the bank. That ain't middle. Go through MV. That ain't rap. Money in the bank. Let's go. Money has left the bank.
Game should have been over.
Yeah.
I shot like 4 3. Oh, I shot 3.
Gotta put some in that bank then. Or C. Put some in that bank then. Gotta put some in that bank if you want the game to be over. I know, right, bro? Not even worth playing this mode unless you just want to have fun and prolong. I mean, unless you're doing some super duper defense, that mode ain't gonna be useful. So right now we got 2 modes that kind of worthless: money in the bank and the true percentage. Yo, what? Bro, come on. How do the game just give you this fake defense, bro? Clearly, I beat him to the spot.
Now, I've heard some YouTubers say things like, well, you shouldn't do a budget. A budget is too restrictive and a budget is too stressful. That's weak. That's a cop-out. Sometimes your accountability partner has to be you, and that's what a budget is. Guys, investing 20% of your income may seem like a dream to some of you, but with the right strategies, it's more achievable than you probably can imagine. Yeah, we know there's inflation, there's the high cost of living, there's high rents, there's unpredictable markets, there's a potential stock market crash that we all know is coming. But I'm telling you, investing 20% of your money is very, very doable. So on this video, let's talk about exactly how to do it. Now guys, the goal here is to invest 20% of your gross income. Not your take home, but the overall amount of money you make per year. We want to take 20% of that, whatever that number is, and invest it. So for example, and I'll use this example throughout the video. If you make $100,000 a year, then you need to find a way to take $20,000 of that and invest it. And I only use $100,000 per year because it's a good round number. Now, if your salary is $50,000 a year, that means you want to find a way to invest $10,000 of your $50,000 salary. But get out the calculator and do the math. You've got to do your own math based on what your income is, right? Because the first thing you got to do is figure out what is 20% of my income. Now, the second thing you got to do is you got to get ultra committed. That means spend more time than you've ever spent before looking at your money and managing your money throughout the course of a month. Look, if you got to spend more time focusing on your money and maybe even less time on social media or doing some other activity, leisure activity, it's well worth it in the end. You've got to get committed. Try it for 30 days. You'd be shocked at the results. Look, anything you want, you've got to focus on it. And the more focus and attention you give to something, the more it's going to grow and expand in whatever direction you want it to. Look, if you want to have bigger legs, you go to the gym and you focus on working legs. I guarantee you your legs will grow. If you focus on taking good care of the grass and making sure the grass grows greener, you're putting fertilizer on it and you're putting attention towards it and you're focused on it, it's going to get greener, right? So get committed and get focused on the money. And in this commitment and focus, you got to figure out ways to spend less money and bring your expenses down. But you can't do that unless you're focused on it, right? And you're committed to this goal of investing 20% of your gross income. Just imagine if you put as much focus and energy and commitment towards this goal as you do some of the other areas of your life, and that's when you're going to make this thing happen. Now, the third thing you got to think about doing is you got to get away from this addiction to stuff, right? Because in order to bring your expenses down, you got to no longer subscribe to this mentality of materialism, consumerism, buy this and buy that, right? You're going to leave that whole mind frame, that whole mindset, right? So you have to get unaddicted to these things and buying stuff, right? Remember, stuff is not going to make you happy, but a lot of us are tied to this materialism and consumerism, and it sort of engulfs us, a lot of us, and we don't even think about it. We're just on the hamster wheel, going 100 miles an hour to buy this and buy that and have this and have that, but slow down. You don't need all the stuff that you may think you do, right? We have to reduce expenses. One way is to get off the bandwagon of consumerism. I know people who have an addiction to shopping. They either going to the thrift stores 3 or 4 times a week, or they're having Amazon drop off packages 4, 5, 6 times a week, and they have stuff that they don't even use. They just like the thrill and excitement of buying something. Look, if you know somebody like that, let me know in the comments below. Drop a comment, don't drop the name, but just let me know if you know somebody like that and you can sort of relate to that. But it happens, right? Sometimes this shopping addiction or materialism addiction or addiction to stuff, we sort of blow it off like it's not really a real thing. But in America, it's a real thing. Having to have the latest name brand of this or the latest gadget, right? A lot of people fall into that trap, right? So we have to sort of wean ourselves off of the dopamine that's associated with shopping and buying stuff. Really important to help reduce your expenses, because the less expenses you have every month, the more money you have to go towards this 20% of your income goal invested. So you have to get in the mind frame of investing instead of buying. Investing instead of purchasing. Investing instead of trying to get the upgrade. Now, the fourth thing is you have to do a darn budget. You cannot really invest money until you first know what you have, what you spend, and how much you have left over. What we call discretionary income. It's the money left over after all your bills are paid every single month. Because that's the money that we're going to use to put towards our 20% investing goal. Now, I've heard some YouTubers say things like, you shouldn't do a budget. A budget is too restrictive and a budget is too stressful, right? I've heard that. But in my opinion, that's weak. That's a cop-out. The one thing you need to invest 20% of your income, your gross income, every single year is you need to have discipline. And what a budget does is it allows you to practice and get better at the disciplines that you need to really grow money. You need limitations on yourself. You need to be able to tell yourself no and be disciplined enough to move on without making that purchase, or disciplined enough to actually lower your expenses so that you have additional money to put towards this goal of investing 20% of your gross income. You got to have the discipline to do it. The budget gives you guardrails. Like when you're driving down the street and you got these guardrails, right? That make sure you stay in your lane, so to speak. This is what your budget is. Everybody doesn't have an accountability partner, right? Sometimes your accountability partner has to be you. And the best way to hold yourself accountable is to write down what you have, write down what you're going to spend, and figure out what's left. That's your accountability to yourself. And that's what a budget is. It helps you set clear limitations for you to be disciplined. And that's exactly what all of us need. So you gotta do a budget so we can figure out what is this leftover money after you've paid all your expenses every month. And again, that's what we're gonna use to help us reach our goal. So the question is, how much money do you have left over each month, according to your budget? Now, for some of you watching this is gonna first require that you actually do a budget written down, right? And that's okay. I've got videos on exactly how I budget that you can check out. I'll be sure to put those in the description box below. Now, that discretionary money that's left over every single month, that's a figure that I've found that a lot of people really don't know. And it's going to be a varied amount because every single month, your expenses are a little bit different. So through the course of a year, your discretionary number may be $600 one month, it may be $1,300 the next month, right? But all of it's easily calculated if you go ahead and do a budget. So you got to know that number of about what's left over each month, or gonna be left over. Now, this is the fifth thing. Once you get that idea of how much discretionary money you have that's gonna be left over at the end of each month, you have a good idea what that is, you need to figure out what percentage of your income that is. So back to our example. Let's say you make $100,000 a year. And every single month, you know that you're going to have about $1,000 left over. It's going to vary. It could be $800 one month, could be $1,200 the next month, but it's around $1,000 a month. Now, if you have $1,000 a month left over after your expenses every month, then you're going to have $12,000 a year. $12,000 in a year from a $100,000 salary is about 12%. So by having an extra $1,000 left over at the end of each month, if you decide to invest that $1,000, that's 12% of your income. Now, if you add in the 5% that you're getting already from the 401k at your job, where you're putting in 5% to get the match, you take that 5% of your gross income that you're putting in, you add it to the 12% of your gross income that you've now discovered with $1,000 every single month left over. Now you're up to 17% of your gross income that you're putting towards investing, right? In that example, you put $1,000 a month that you have left over towards investing. That's $12,000 a year. That's 12% of your $100,000 income. And again, you simply added on the additional 5%, I made that number up, that you're putting in towards your job's 401k for a total of 17% of your money. That's kind of how we got there. Now, all you have to do is figure out, how do I get an additional 3% that I can put in towards my investments every year to take it from 17,000 up to 20,000, which 20,000 would be 20% of your $100,000 salary. That's all you got to do. You've got some choices, right? Perhaps you just simply increase your 401k by 3% from the 5% match that you were getting to now putting 8% of your money towards your 401k, and then also on the side, putting that $1,000 every month towards investing. Now you've reached your 20%. Or perhaps you open up a separate brokerage account and you find a way throughout the course of a year to put in $3,000 extra dollars into the separate brokerage account. Or perhaps instead of putting $1,000 a month towards the brokerage account, you make some additional sacrifices with your monthly expenses by reducing your monthly expenses by $3,000 over the course of a year. And now you add that additional money along with your $1,000 a month into your investing. So the point is this: once you do some of the basics of making the commitment, being focused, doing a budget and figuring what is your discretionary need, lowering your expenses, getting away from buying so much stuff that you don't use and don't need. Once you do all of that, you'll find that getting to 20% of your gross income is not as difficult as you may think. It's doable, but it's just going to take some sacrifice on your part. I also want to say this, guys. If you can, be sure to automate this thing as much as possible. The more that you automate it, I found that it's easier to do because you don't have to spend the time and the energy looking at it, thinking about it, and then actually executing. It just executes automatically, where you can get to the point where you automatically in your brokerage account have $1,000 coming out of your bank account every single month to go towards your investing. Or you automatically increase your 401k or 403b at your job so that they're automatically taking this money out and you don't see it. By automating it, it just takes away some of these extra steps that sometimes can get in the way and cause us to procrastinate and not do it. So that's what it really takes to invest 20% of your income. Remember, you got to do your own math with your own income to figure out what is 20% of your growth.
Reincarnation. Okay.
Hello.